right. Mrs. Dolly Levi, born Gallagher, social introductions. Ladies and gentlemen of excellent family, introduced under the most respectable conditions in an atmosphere of elegance and refinement. Abject matrimony. Unfortunately, I won't be able to offer my usual lightning service today, as I have a previous appointment in Yonkers, New York, arranging the second marriage of Mr. Horace Gelder, the well-known half-a-millionaire. As my late husband Ephraim Levi always said, that means he's got at least 60,000 cash. But I will do my best to have you carried across somebody's threshold before the week is out. Now, I might also mention I'm available for financial consultation, instruction in the guitar and mandolin, short distance hauling, and varicose veins reduced.
Dolly, she's the one the spinsters recommend. Just name the kind of man your sister wants. She'll snatch him up. Don't forget to bring your maid in and she'll match him up.
Mrs. Levi!
Ah, Mr. Kemper, the artist.
Mrs. Levi, the train for Yonkers leaves in 5 minutes. And if we don't get there on time,
But we will, Mr. Kemper. And not only will Horace Gelder give you permission to marry his niece, Ermengarde, but he will also dance at your wedding. And not alone either, because I happen to be engaged in finding him a suitable second wife himself. What he really wants is someone steady to clean the house. As my late husband, Ephraim Levi, always said, marriage is a bribe to make a housekeeper think she's a householder.
I know all about it, Mrs. Levi. Well, half New York says he's going to propose to Mrs. Irene Malloy this very afternoon.
Which is exactly why I'm on my way to Yonkers this very morning, Mr. Kemper, and can take on your case and knock off 4 lovebirds with 1 stone, or whatever I'll see. And well, what do you think of that? I have nothing to pay my train fare with.
What?
Only large bills, 5s and 7s.
Well, I have some change here somewhere, Mrs. Levi. I only hope this isn't a wild goose chase.
Speaking of poultry, I might also mention I'm available for fresh Jersey eggs, surgical corsets reboned, ears pierced, pierced ears replugged.
Mrs. Levi!
Just name the kind of man your sister wants and she'll snatch him up. Don't forget to bring your maid in and she'll match him up. Go on.
Tell me, Mrs. Levi, what's in all this for you?
A living, Mr. Kemper. Some people paint, some sew. I meadow. I have always been a woman who arranges things for the pleasure and the profit it derives. I have always been a woman who arranges things like furniture and daffodils and lives. When a man with a timid tongue meets a girl with a diffident air, why should the tortured creatures beat around the bush when heaven knows Mother Nature always needs a little push? So I put my hand in here, I put my hand in there. And a girl over 6'3" loves a man who comes up to her ear. Surely it's obvious she'll never be seduced till some kind soul condescends to give her beau a little boost. So I put my hand in there, I put my hand in luncheon parties, poker games, and love. My aplomb at cosmetic art turned a frump to a trump lady fair. She had a countenance a little bit like Scrooge, but oh, today you would swear the Lord himself like Ruth. I put my hand in here. A little stir, a little him, a little her, a little shape, a little mold, a little some poor chap gets sold, a little when I use my fist, a little some young bride gets kissed, a little pressure with the thumbs. Matrimony comes when I put my hand in there. I know, Mr. Kemper. The Yonkers train is ready to leave. Now, you go buy our tickets, get a window seat, order lunch, and I will meet you on board. Ephraim Levi, I'm gonna get married again. I'm gonna marry Horace Vandergelder for his money and send it out circulating among the people like rainwater, the way you taught me. And I want a sign from you sometime today that you approve. Oh, it won't be a marriage in the sense that we had one, but I'm certainly gonna make him happy. And I'm tired, Ephraim, tired of living from hand to mouth. So I want that sign.
Mrs. Levi!
Sometime today. Don't you worry, Mr. Kemper. We'll make that train. We'll get to Yonkers. You'll marry Ermengarde. Just leave everything to me. Oh, when my little pinky wiggles, some young maiden gets the giggles, then I make my knuckles active. He says she's so attractive. Then I move my index digit, and they both begin to fidget. Then I clench my palm. The preacher reads a psalm when I put my hand in
expected to play Yonkers, my Yonkers, with all that bellowing in my ears.
I can't help it, Uncle. I love Ambrose Kemper.
And I say you're too young to be in love with anybody. Here, take this.
I'm not too young. I'm 17. And in another year, I'll be an old maid.
Well, I forbid it. Dare to be an old maid, Ermengarde, and I'll cut you off without a cent. And don't cry in front of the store. It's bad for business.
I can't help it. I'm unhappy.
Then by thunder, you'll go and weep for a while in New York, where it won't be noticed. Now go upstairs and start packing your trunk. And don't get any tears on the lock. It was just oiled. Well, I'll give you where, you young whippersnapper. Cornelius! Barnaby!
You stamped, Mr. Van de Gelder?
I did. I got news for you. Both. I'm going to New York this afternoon to march in the 14th Street Association Parade. And when I come back, you're going to have a mistress.
I'm too young, Mr. Van de Gelder.
Not yours, hell and damnation. Mine. I mean, I'm getting married again. And in honor of that occasion, I've decided to promote you, Cornelius, to chief clerk.
And what am I now, Mr. Van de Gelder?
You're an impertinent fool, that's what you are. And I'm promoting you from impertinent fool to chief clerk. Any more questions?
Yes.
What?
Does the chief clerk get one evening off a week?
So that's the way you thank me for your promotion, is it? No, sir.
Yes, sir.
You'll attend to the store as usual.
Yes, sir.
Now get back to work.
Yes, sir.
And don't forget to put the lid on the sheep dip. Evenings off. Marrying artists. It's foolishness. 99% of the people in this world are fools. And the rest of us are in great danger of contamination. Why, even I was once young, which was foolish, and got married, which was foolish, and was poor, which was more foolish than anything else. Then my wife died, which was foolish of her. I grew older, which was sensible of me, and became rich, friendless, and mean, which in Yonkers is about as far as you can go. Oh, I know what you're wondering now. Why a man of so much good sense should be wasting his time planning anything as foolish as getting married again. The answer is simple. This house without a woman would be an empty shell. And pretty dirty, too. It takes a woman all powdered and pink to joyously clean out the drain in the sink. And it takes an angel with long golden lashes and soft Dresden fingers for dumping the ashes. Yes, it takes a woman, a dainty woman, a sweetheart, a mistress, a wife. Oh, yes, it takes a woman, a fragile woman, to bring you the sweet things in life. The frail young maiden who's constantly there for washing and blowing and shoeing the mare. And it takes a female for setting the table and weaning the Guernsey and cleaning the stable. Yes, it takes a woman, a dainty woman, a sweetheart, a mistress, a wife. Oh, yes, it takes a woman, a fragile woman, to bring you the sweet things in life. And so she'll work until infinity. 3 cheers for F-E-M-I-T-Y? Get out of here! And in the winter, she'll shovel the ice and lovingly set out the traps for the mice. She's a joy and treasure, for practically speaking, to whom can you turn when the plumbing is leaking?
To that dainty woman, that fragile woman, that sweetheart, that mistress, that wife. Oh, yes, it takes a woman,
A husky woman, to bring you the sweet things in life.
Oh, yes, it takes a woman, a dainty woman, a sweetheart, a mistress, a wife. Oh, yes, it takes a woman, a fragile woman, to bring you the sweet things
need you too, Barnaby Tucker. Go on. Get back to work. Go on, you.
Well, congratulations, congratulations. 1,000 congratulations.
What?
Congratulations, Mr. Vandergelder. All of New York is buzzing with the news that you practically proposed to Irene Malloy. The streets are lined with eligible young ladies prostrate with grief. All of my congratulations, sympathy.
Sympathy?
Oh, did I say that? A mere slip of the tongue, that's all. No, I'm delighted with the happy news. After all, she wasn't easy to unload. By that, I mean, you know what people said, although I, for one, never did believe the rumors. No, I didn't.
Rumors? What rumors?
Oh, nothing to get upset about, Mr. Vandergelder. I mean, according to all known facts, her first husband passed on quite naturally. It's just that he went so sudden. Few spoonfuls of chowder that she made special for him, and it could happen to anyone. No, there's no truth in it. Just one word of advice, Mr. Vandergelder. Eat out.
Now, hold on, Mrs. Levi. You mean to say...
I mean to say nothing, Mr. Vandergelder, just friendly advice. Keep away from the chowder. Oh, by the way, she's ordered her wedding gown. Beautiful. You should see it. Black. Well, as I said before, Mr. Vandergelder, congratulations on your forthcoming nuptials, and may you rest in peace. I mean, may guardian angels watch over you both. Particularly at dinner.
Now, look here, Mrs. Levi. You introduced me to Mrs. Malloy, and rumors or not, I intend calling on her this afternoon as arranged.
Very well, Mr. Vandergelder. Then there's nothing more for me to do but go back to New York and tell the other girl, the heiress, not to wait.
What did you say?
Nothing, a word, heiress.
Particulars, Mrs. Levi. I demand particulars. Her name.
Her name? Money. Ernestina Money.
What a lovely, lovely name.
Picture, if you will, hair as shiny as a newly minted dime, eyes as big round as silver dollars, skin as soft and mossy as an old greenback.
I can feel her now.
Age 19, weight 102, waist 47.
Waist 47?
That's with the money belt. Now, I could arrange for you to meet this Ernestina this very afternoon.
I ain't got time, Mrs. Levi. I gotta bring my niece Ermengarde to New York this afternoon, till she forgets a certain Ambrose Kemper.
Oh, I could do that for you, Mr. Vandergelder. I know just how to handle such things.
Then I'm marching in the 14th Street Parade.
What an amazing coincidence. Guess who has been chosen to ride on the main float? The spirit of 14th Street, Miss Money.
All right, Mrs. Levi, I'll meet Miss Money at the parade.
Yeah.
But I still intend paying another call on Mrs. Malloy first.
Oh, dear, what races should you make me run? Very well, Mr. Vandergelder. I will meet you on that bench in front of Mrs. Malloy's hat shop at 2:30 as usual.
One more thing, Mrs. Levi.
Yes.
Suppose I decide against Mrs. Malloy, and I don't like Miss Money neither.
Well, then I happen to have one more name on my list, Mr. Vandergelder, a name I know as well as my own. Let's not go into that now. It'll come up by itself. All in good time. Don't you worry about that. But wait till you see Ernestina Horace. A vision. A dream.
It takes a woman all powdered and pink to joyously clean out the drain in the sink. And it takes an angel with long golden lashes and soft Dresden fingers for dumping the ashes.
Yes, it takes a woman. La-dee-da-da-dum. La la-dee. Oh, yes, it takes a woman, la-da-da-dee-dum. You know, Ephraim, I think I'll have this room done over in blue wallpaper. Yes, in blue. Ermengarde, Ambrose, come out here. We got plans to make.
Chief clerk. Chief clerk. Promoted from chief clerk to chief clerk. And if I'm good in 10 years, I'll be promoted to chief clerk again. When do I get an evening free? When am I going to begin to live?
You can live on holidays, Cornelius.
Did you forget what happened last Christmas? All those canned tomatoes went bad and exploded, and you and I cleaned up the mess all afternoon. Do you call that living?
No.
Barnaby, you and I are going to New York!
You mean close the store?
Uh-huh.
Cornelius, we can't.
We'll have to. Some more rotten tomato cans are going to explode.
Holy cabooses! Well, how do you know?
I'm gonna light this candle under them, that's how I know. It'll make such a smell customers won't be able to come into the place for 24 hours. That'll give us an evening off. We are going to New York, Barnaby, and we are going to live! We're going to have a good meal. We're going to be in danger. We're going to spend our money. We are going to be arrested!
Holy cabooses!
And one more thing. We are not coming back to Yonkers until we've each kissed a girl.
Well, Cornelius, you can't do that. You don't know any girls.
I gotta begin sometime.
Well, I'm only 17, Cornelius. It isn't so urgent for me.
New York, Barnaby. Elevated trains. The lights of Broadway. The stuffed whale at Barnum's Museum.
Stuffed whale?
A stuffed whale. What do you say, Barnaby?
Yes, Cornelius, yes!
Now, the first thing to do is to make you financially independent. I know I'll find you a job. Can you dance?
I'm an artist, Mrs. Levi. I paint.
Oh, well then, my card.
Mrs. Dolly Levi, painters taught how to dance.
Now, there's a man, Rudolph Reisenweber, at the Harmonia Gardens restaurant on 14th Street. I will give you a note, and we'll see if he can't have you both entered in the polka contest by tonight. The prize is a week's engagement and a gold cup. Ah, the cups we won. Ephraim and me.
Now, hold on, Mrs. Levi. No fiancé of mine is going to set foot in a cafe. And I don't mind saying I'm surprised that you have acquaintances in a place like that.
Not acquaintances, Mr. Kemper, friends. Dear friends from days gone by. My late husband, Ephraim Levi, believed in life. And any place you could find it. Cafes, ballrooms, yes, even theaters. Why, even when times were bad, every Saturday night like clockwork, down those stairs at the Harmonia Gardens we came. Ephraim and me.
It's all very well to come down like clockwork, Mrs. Levi, but you're asking Ermengarde to work there.
That's the only way to show how as being together we mean business. Now look, you go to the Harmonia Gardens restaurant this afternoon and say that Mrs. Levi sent you. And incidentally, tell Rudolph that Dolly's coming back. And I want a table for two and a chicken for 8 o'clock tonight. Huh?
The bottom row looks all right, Cornelius. Now hold the candle under the ones on top. Not too close! They're swelled up like they're ready to pop! Holy cabooses! Cornelius, I can smell it up here!
Let's get dressed, Barnaby. You and I are going to New York. Out there's a world outside of Yonkers. Way out there beyond on this hick town, Barnaby. There's a slick town, Barnaby, out there, full of shine and full of sparkle. Close your eyes and see it glisten, Barnaby. Listen, Barnaby. Put on your Sunday clothes, there's lots of world out there. Get out the brilliantine and dime cigars. We're gonna find adventure in the evening air. Girls in white and a perfume night where the lights are bright as the stars. Put on your Sunday clothes, we're gonna ride through town in one of those new horse-drawn open cars. We'll see the shows in Delmonico, and we'll close the town in our whirl, and we won't come home until we kiss the girl.
Put on your Sunday clothes when you feel down and out. Strut down the street and have your picture took. Dress like a dream, your spirit seemed to turn about. That Sunday shine is a certain sign that you feel as fine as you look.
Beneath your parasol, the world is all a smile. That makes you feel brand new down to your toes. Get out your feathers, your patent leathers, your feet and buckles and bows. For there's no Monday in your Sunday clothes. Come on, Barnaby, we're going on New York. Elevated trains, the lights of Broadway, the South Whale at Barnum's Museum. Come on!
Put on your Sunday clothes when you feel down and proud. Go down the street and have your picture took. Just like a dream, your spirit seemed to turn around. That Sunday shine is a certain sign that you feel as fine as you look. Beneath your parasol, the world is all a smile. That makes you feel brand new down to your toes. Get out your feathers, your patent leathers, your feet and buckles and bows. For there's no Monday in your Sunday Beneath your polar brim, the world's a simple song. A lovely lilt that makes you tilt your nose. Get out your sneakers, your flannel knickers, your red suspenders and hose. For there's no Monday in your Sunday clothes.
Ermengarde, stop sniveling. Don't cry on the valises. We haven't missed the train, thank the Lord. Lovely, you're improving. Now get all 11 pieces. We're 7 minutes late. All aboard.
Sunday clothes, there's lots of world out there. Put on your silk robe, black it's true. For I can feel adventure in the evening air. Town will trot to a smoky spot where our
dear. Oh, my. Oh, will you look at that? 10 o'clock and the shop not opened yet. It's all because of the impending marriage, I tell you. What marriage? Oh, I thought you knew. Why, the marriage that Mrs. Levi is arranging between Mr. Horace Vandegelder, the well-known Yonkers half-a-millionaire, and my employer and friend, Mrs. Irene Malloy. Although, if you ask me, he'll never take the place of her late husband, Mr. Peter Malloy, may he rest in peace, wherever he is. I'm not sure. He was a caution, you know. It's all too much with late husbands and new marriages, and on top of everything else, Miss Mortimer returning this hat for the 3rd time. Same old story. She wants more cherries and feathers. Cherries and feathers. Cherries and feathers. To catch a beau, I suppose. Although, if you ask me, she'd do better with a nice heavy veil. Now, I told her, ribbons down our back is what we'll be wearing this summer if we want to catch a gentleman's eye. But she'd have none of it. Cherries and feathers is what she wants. On today of all days, when that poor, dear, sweet Mrs. Malloy has enough on her mind, what with... when that poor, dear, sweet Mrs. Malloy has enough on her mind, what with...
With what, Minnie?
Well, with the door. It's stuck.
It's stuck? Then push.
And as I was saying, well, I could just bite out my tongue for the things that I've said and the things that I'm going to say. But as long as I've gone this far, I might as well go all the way. Mrs. Malloy, why? Why?
Say it, Minnie. Why have I decided to marry Horace Vandegelder?
Oh, Mrs. Malloy, I didn't ask you that. Well, I would rather die on the rack than ask you such a personal question. But as long as you did bring it up.
I am marrying Horace Vandegelder for one reason and one reason alone, Minnie. To get away from the millinery business. I hate hats.
Mrs. Malloy.
I can no longer stand being suspected of being a wicked woman with nothing to show for it.
Oh, Mrs. Malloy.
Oh, don't protest, Minnie. All millineresses are suspected of being wicked women. That's why I can't go into restaurants or balls or theaters. Oh, that's all the proof they'd need. Take my word for it, Minnie. Either I marry Horace Vandegelder, or I break out of this place like a fire engine. Oh, no, not Miss Mortimer again.
Miss Mortimer, I'll take care of it.
No, Minnie, leave it be. Or you can make another hat for Miss Mortimer if you like. I'm wearing this one myself.
Oh, Mrs. Malloy, you can't do that. Well, you're a widow. And that hat, well, it's provocative, that's what.
Is it, Minnie? Well, who knows who may walk into the shop today? And provocative may be just what I want to be.
Oh, Mrs. Malloy.
I'll be wearing ribbons down my back this summer. Blue and green and streaming in the yellow sky. So if someone special comes my way this summer, he might notice me passing by. And so I'll try to make it easier to find me in the stillness of July, because a breeze might stir a rainbow up behind me that might happen to catch a gentleman's eye.
horses couldn't make me ask this next question that I'm about to ask, but I'm going to ask it anyhow. Do you love Horace Van de Gelder?
No, Minnie, I don't. Peter Malloy, God rest him, was my share of love. And I'm not saying I was shortchanged. Once is enough for a woman, as long as it's true love. And it was that. Minnie, look, there's two men staring at the shop.
Men?
Why, I do believe they mean to come in here.
Men? In the shop? Oh, Mrs. Malloy, what shall we do?
Do? Why, flirt with them, of course. I'll give you the short one.
Mrs. Malloy, and you with all that talk about love.
Oh, love enough I've had, Minnie. It's a bit of adventure I could do with now. We'll get them all heated up, then drop them cold. It'll be good practice for married life. Now, you go into the workroom, Minnie. I know some ways we can perk up our appearances. Besides, a bit of a wait will only make them nervous and easier for us to...
If you say vampire, I'll scream.
Vampire. And so, I'll try to make it easier to find me in the stillness of July, because a breeze might stir a rainbow up behind me that might happen to catch a gentleman's eye. Oh, Minnie, we'll get an adventure out of this yet.
Oh, Barnaby, we'll get an adventure out of this yet. All day long we wander around the streets of New York and nothing happens, and then we come to the quietest street in the city and suddenly... Van de Gelder! Oh! Is he still there? Go look!
He's sitting on that bench! Cornelius, are you sure this is an adventure?
You don't have to ask, Barnaby. When you're in one, you'll know it, all right. How much money have you got left?
Oh, not much, Cornelius. Well, let's see. 40 cents for the train back, and 30 cents for dinner, and 20 cents to see the whale. 90 cents. Why?
Well, when those women come out, we'll have to pretend to be customers. Customers, that's it. Maybe the best thing to do is make them think we're rich. Then we won't have to spend anything. We are two men about town looking for hats for ladies. Ah, good afternoon, Mrs.
Malloy.
Here, Cornelius Hackle.
Here, Barnaby Tucker.
My pleasure, gentlemen. Now, what can I do for you?
Well, you see, we're two ladies about town looking for some hats
We're
to
hats,
Malloy.
looking to buy
and we
two
want to say
ladies
what-
from Malloy.
We want a hat. For a lady, of course. And everybody said, go to Mrs. Malloy's because she's so pretty. I mean, her hats are so pretty.
And so reasonable, Cornelius. As reasonable as under $1 would still leave us enough to see the whale.
You've got to pay him no mind, man. You see, he's come all the way from Yonkers to see the stuffed whale, and he's all excited. Just keep your eye on that street, Barnaby. Maybe you'll see it pass by.
Is it big and black with mean little red eyes?
Yes.
It's sitting right on that bench!
Oh, excuse me, but did you say Yonkers, Mr. Hackle?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yonkers. And forgive me for saying this, but you should see Yonkers. Oh, by that I mean perhaps Mr. Malloy would like to see Yonkers, too.
Oh, I'm a widow, Mr. Hackle.
You are? Barnaby, she's a widow! Oh, that's too bad. I'm sure Mr. Malloy would have enjoyed Yonkers, especially in that hat. Oh, on you, of course not, Mr. Malloy. May he rest in peace. You're Catholic, aren't you? Don't let that worry you. I'd be willing to change. Mrs. Malloy, if you should ever happen to have a Sunday free in the near future, I'd be more than pleased to show you Yonkers from top to bottom.
Well, as a matter of fact, Mr. Hackle, I might be there sooner than you think.
Oh, really?
Well, you see, I have a friend who lives in Yonkers.
You do?
Perhaps you know him.
Well, perhaps we do.
But then it's always so foolish to ask in cases like that, isn't it? It's a Mr. Van de Gelder.
Horace Van de Gelder.
Of Vandergelder's hay and feed.
Do you know him?
No.
Well, Mr. Vandergelder's a substantial man and well-liked, they tell me.
Cornelius, I think, look!
No! Begging your pardon, Mrs. Malloy.
Gentlemen, what are you doing?
Oh!
Please help us, Mrs. Malloy. We'll explain later.
Come out of there this minute! Well, really, Mr. Hackle, Mr. Tucker, I insist that you both come out of there at once, or I shall be forced to call up Mr. Vandergelder.
Mrs. Malloy? I don't suppose Mrs. Levi is here, is she? She was supposed to meet me on that bench 10 minutes ago. Well, she can just go looking for me if she comes. When I make an appointment, I like people to be on time. Oh, here's a present for you. Chocolate-covered peanuts. On shell. That's the expensive kind. Did I just see you talking with two men?
Men? Men, Mr. Vandergelder! What would men be doing in a lady's hat shop? Tell me, Mr. Vandergelder, what's new in Yonkers?
Yonkers? Who's been telling you about Yonkers, may I ask?
No one, a friend.
What friend?
A customer, Mr. Vandergelder. Someone quite well-to-do, as a matter of fact. Ow. He was in here buying hats for ladies. A Cornelius Hackle.
Hackle? Did you say Hackle?
Why, yes. Do you know him?
He just happens to be my chief clerk, that's all. Mrs. Malloy, I demand an explanation.
And I'm gonna give it to you. Why shouldn't she know Cornelius Hackle? Everybody in New York knows Cornelius Hackle. Why, he's here at the opera, in all the fashionable homes. He's at the Harmonia Gardens restaurant 3 times a week.
Impossible. He's only got $146.35, and I keep it in my own safe.
Oh, come now, Mr. Vandergelder, you're killing me. Why, he's one of the Hackles. They built the canal.
What canal?
The
Panama
boat.
It ain't the same man.
Who took the horses out of Jenny Lynn's carriage and pulled her through the streets? Cornelius Hackle. And who dressed up as a waiter at the Fifth Avenue Hotel and dropped an oyster down Mrs. Yester's? Now, Irene, don't you deny it. I can see you were taken with him just like everyone else.
Dolly, what are you saying? I've only seen him once in my life.
Excuse me.
Of course. Oh.
Now, look here. If there's a man in that closet...
No, Mr. Vandergelder, you can't. It's too dangerous.
No man that hides in ladies' closets can frighten me, Mrs. Levi. Stand aside.
No man, indeed. I'll bet you'd make short work of any man. Those muscles, I can see them now, rippling back and forth under your coat. Ripple, ripple, ripple.
For the last time, Mrs. Levi, will you stand aside?
Stand indeed, Mr. Vandergelder. That's exactly what the court will want to know when you're accused of entering that wardrobe without a search warrant. I mean, what do you stand for if you don't stand for the law of this great land? I know what I stand for. I stand for motherhood, America, and a hot lunch for orphans. Take off your hat Sir, Betsy Ross's flag is passing. Do you see him on the hill at Gettysburg? Need that great triumphal arch. If you see him as he's trampling through the grapes of wrath, stand up and march, march, march.
Has this not affected you, sir? I came here at 14 years of age as an immigrant girl from a land that oppressed my people. And I must echo now what was said by that great and patriotic American...
Moses.
I stand for motherhood, America, and a punch for orphans. Take off your hat, sir. There's a tear-stained eagle passing. Do you see him on the bridge at Waterloo? Near the great triumphal arch. If you hear him singing Dixie in the sugar cane, stand up and march, march, march. I stand for the
Alamo, remember the Alamo. I regret that I will not give for my country. In the words of Lincoln, one if I land and two if I sea, instead I chop that Cherokee down. Stonewall Jackson, glory, glory, hallelujah. Stand up and march, march,
7 years ago.
march, march.
To form a more perfect union.
March! March! Damn the torpedoes! Full speed ahead! March! March! So you see, Mr. Vandergelder, there couldn't possibly be a man in that closet. God bless you.
Mrs. Malloy?
All right, Mr. Vandergelder, there is a man in that cupboard.
Aha!
And another under that table.
What the devil?
There also happens to be a very simple explanation. But for the present, good afternoon.
Good Lord, the whole room's crawling with men. I'll never get over it. I take it I'll see you later on this afternoon, Mr. Vandergelder.
You certainly will, Mrs. Levi, with a certain young lady on the main float at the end of the parade. Good day, Mrs. Malloy.
Oh, Mrs. Malloy, I can explain everything.
I do not care to hear any explanations, Mr. Hackle. Just you and Mr. Tucker. Do me the pleasure of leaving my shop at once, or I send for Officer Gogarty.
Oh, well, if you ask me, Irene, calling an officer's letting them off too easy. Much too easy. The law courts, that's where they belong. I've been adding up the legal offenses these two have committed. And believe me, you got grounds for at least 2 writs. A non compos mentis and a garnishee. Now, the main thing is to show that you tried to settle it amicably first. Have dinner with them.
Dinner?
Is that absolutely necessary, Dolly?
Well, that's the way things are done in law, Irene. Dinner first, garnishee afterwards.
Well, if it must be. Mr. Hackle, Mr. Tucker, You may take Miss Fay and myself to dinner.
Delighted, Mrs. Malloy, and I speak for Barnaby, too. Now, I understand they have a very nice restaurant at the railway station.
Oh, no, Mr. Hackle. If the Harmonia Gardens is good enough for your fashionable friends, it's good enough for us. They say they have a lovely orchestra there, Minnie.
Oh, no, we couldn't go there. Now, don't misunderstand me. It isn't the money or anything like that. It's the whale! It's the whale! No, Barnaby, it isn't the whale. It's the dancing. You see, they have dancing in a place like that. Exhibitions, even contests, and I don't know how. And it would take me weeks, months, years to learn. Mrs. Dolly Levi, chief clerks, taught how to dance.
Now you just put one arm here and one arm here.
Oh, it's no use. I have absolutely no sense of rhythm.
Absolutely no sense of rhythm is one of the primary requirements for learning by the Gallagher-Levi method. Now, just you give me 5 minutes of your time, Mr. Hacker, and I'll have you dancing in the streets. We'll start with lesson 7, the waltz kick turn. It's very simple. Right foot touch, left foot touch. Under, back, around, touch. Back, through, around, back, behind, bout. Over. Release. Unfurl. Wonderful, wonderful. When I think of the lucky women who will find heaven in your arms, let's go back to lesson 1. Now, put your hand on her waist and stand with her right in your left hand. And 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That's it. 1, 2. No.
Look, I'm dancing! Well, I was.
Of course you were, Mr. Hackle. Take the someone whose arms you're in. Hold on to her tight and spin. And 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Look! I'm dancing!
Turn around, try floating through the air. Can't you be a little more aesthetic?
Don't you think my dancing has a polish and a flair?
The word I think I'd use is athletic.
For my heart is about to burst. My head is about to pop. And now that I'm dancing, who cares if I ever stop? Look at me, everybody. I, Cornelius Hackle Sports and dancing.
You're next, Mr. Tucker. Glide and step, and then step and glide.
And everyone, stand aside.
Oh.
Look, he's dancing.
You could learn to polka if you worked a week or so. Or the tango filled with passion seething.
I could join the chorus of the Castle Garden Show.
Oh, whatever you do, for gosh sakes, keep breathing.
My heart is about to burst. My head is about to pop. And now that I'm dancing, who cares if I ever stop?
Come on, everybody, dance in the street. as around and around you go, your spirits will hit the top and
Now that we're dancing, who cares if we ever stop? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And now that we're dancing, who cares if we ever stop?
Mrs. Levi. How are you, Mrs. Levi?
How are you, Mrs. Rose?
The same. Pains in my back, aches in my side, stabs in my liver. I'm fine. My daughter Fanny got married, you know.
Did she?
Year ago, last September. It's been a long time since you lived here, Mrs. Levi. Such a long, long time.
Ephraim, let me go. It's been long enough, Ephraim. Every evening for all these years, I've locked the door. I've put out the cat. I've made myself a little rum toddy before I went to bed, and I said a prayer, thanking God that I was independent, that no one else's life was mixed up with mine. And then, one night, an oak leaf fell out of my Bible. I placed it there when you asked me to marry you, Ephraim. A perfectly good oak leaf, but without color and without life. And I suddenly realized that I was like that leaf. For years, I had not shed one tear, nor had I been filled with the wonderful hope that something or other would turn out well. And so I have decided to rejoin the human race. And Ephraim, I want you to give me away. Before the parade passes by, I'm gonna get in step while there's still time left. Before the parade passes by, before it all moves on, and only I'm left.
Mrs. Levi, come along. Cornelius is taking us down to see the 14th Street Parade. Everybody will be marching.
Why, Irene, you're crying.
Oh, Dolly, the world is full of wonderful things. Come with us, Dolly.
I will, Irene. I will. Before the parade passes by, I'm gonna go and taste Saturday's high life. Before the parade passes by, I'm gonna get some life back into my life. I'm ready to move out in front. I've had enough of just passing by life with the rest of them, with the best of them. I can hold my head up high, for I've got a goal again. I've got to drive again. I'm going to feel my heart coming alive again before the parade passes by. Look at that crowd up ahead. Listen and hear that brass harmony growing. Look at that crowd up ahead. Pardon me if my old spirit is showing. All of those lights over there seem to be telling me where I'm going. When the whistles blow and the cymbals crack and the sparklers light the sky, I'm gonna raise the roof. I'm gonna carry on. Give me an old trombone. Give me an overtime before the parade passes by.
Listen and hear that brass harmony growing. When the parade passes by, pardon me if my whole spirit is showing. Follow those lights over there. Seem to be telling me where I'm going. When the whistles blow and the cymbals flash and the sparklers light the sky, I'm gonna raise the roof.
Why, she's beautiful.
Yeah.
Everything you said and more. Don't move, Miss Money. I'm coming. I'm on my way. Hey, you cut that out. That's my fiancée. Stop, thief.
Fiancée.
Pickpocket. Put that back, you. I paid for that girl, and I want all the parts. Miss Money, what is it? Mrs. Levi, what is the meaning of this?
Oh, nothing to get upset about, Horace. A last-minute substitution. Miss Money had a sudden urgent business call at the Mint. They ran a little short, and she's helping out. But she will meet you at the Harmonia Gardens restaurant at 8 o'clock tonight.
That's the most expensive restaurant in the city.
And, well, it should be what food and the fastest waiters in New York. Oh, by the way, Horace, I might be a little late. So Ernestina will meet you in front of the restaurant. Wait till you see her, Horace. All in buttercup yellow, baby pink shoes, humming an old-fashioned tune. Yeah, sweet Rosie O'Grady. You couldn't miss her, Horace, being together if you tried.
I'll be there, Dolly.
Yeah.
But only because I already paid for the introduction, and I might as well get my money's worth.
Yeah.
But from this point on, you are hereby discharged as my marriage broker. Is that
Oh.
clear? From now on, Dolly Gallagher, you're just a woman like anyone else. Where are you taking me? What's happening? I demand to know my immediate future.
Ephraim, he's as good as mine. I'm gonna raise the roof. I'm gonna carry on. Give me an old trombone. Give me an old baton. Before the parade passes by.
Mr. Hackle, we've just loved looking at the lights of 14th Street these past 4 hours. But now perhaps you'd better call a hack, or we won't get to the Harmonia Gardens on time. Oh, there's one. Yoo-hoo!
Oh, we couldn't do that. Now, don't misunderstand me. It isn't the money or anything like that. It's just that nowadays, really elegant people never take hacks.
Hacks is out.
They all go by streetcar.
Well, J.P. Vanderbilt, Diamond Jim Morgan.
Then by all means, a streetcar.
Now, Jim, just think. I have been elegant all of my life and never even knew it.
Of course, now, if you really want to be elegant,
We do.
you walk. Yes, New York, it's really us, Barnaby and Cornelius.
All the guests of Mr. Hackle are feeling great and look spectacular.
What a knack there is to that, acting like a born aristocrat.
We
Got elegance if you ain't got elegance. You can
out with diamond trims tonight.
Good day, Steve. It's leaving us.
Silver spoons were used for feeding us. We got elegance. If you ain't got elegance, you can never, ever carry it off. Middle class, don't speak of its savoir-faire. We reek of it, some were born with rags and patches, but we use dollar bills for matches and J.P. Morgan scrapes and bows to us. We got elegance, we were born with elegance.
Have you noticed when I hold my cup, the saucer never moves?
And the way I keep my pinky up indubitably proves that
We got elegance, we got built in elegance, and with elegance we'll carry it on. We got elegance. If you ain't got elegance, you can never, ever carry
it off. Oh. Oh, look, Minnie. They're counting their money again. Isn't that just like the rich? Well, gentlemen, aren't you going to escort us in?
Of course we are, Mrs. Malloy. Barnaby.
Oh,
Mrs. Malloy.
Yes, Mr. Hackle?
Mrs. Malloy, as we start inside,
Yes, Mr. Hackle?
may I put my arm around your waist?
Yes, Mr. Hackle. But I might as well warn you, a corset is a corset.
But I don't want to be on the stage. I just want to get married.
You heard Mrs. Levi. This is the only way to show your uncle we mean business. Now, can you weep a little faster? You're throwing me off step. Faster. That's it!
Sweet Rosie O'Grady, my sweet little rose.
Oi.
Und it is my order as head waiter of the Harmonia Gardens, und your supreme commander, that tonight of all nights, our usual lightning service will be twice as lightning as ever, or else. I trust you are finding your table satisfactory, sir. The private dining rooms cost a bit more, but they do afford the best view of the entertainment.
$1.40, Cornelius. That's all that's left.
Are you sure? Count it again.
Prepare yourself for a big night, Minnie. We are out with two of New York's best-known sports.
I did make a mistake, Cornelius. It's only $1.35. I'll count it once more.
No, don't. We can't afford it.
I'm going to order everything on the menu. Waiter!
I have told you before, sir, you will have to move. This table is reserved for Mrs. Levi und Party.
And who do you think I am? Only it's Horace Vandergelder und Party. She's in my und Party. I ain't in hers.
Mr. Vandergelder, of course. It's just Mrs. Levi mentioned nothing about you bringing your...
My personal physician. That's enough rouge, Doctor.
But Mrs. Levi only ordered a chicken for two.
Chicken? Chicken's a deer.
Au pâte de maison, soupe de jour, aux pommes soufflées.
Why didn't you tell me this was an Oriental establishment? We'll take 2 bowls of rice. Now get out. Now, Miss Money, I understand you carry respectable sums in your belt.
Oh, yeah. $2. Only it's in my garter. It's right
No, don't do that!
It's sweet of you to worry about our reputations, Cornelius. But Minnie and I don't care who sees us tonight. Well, Minnie, what have you decided?
Oh, I couldn't have anything at these prices. I really couldn't.
Great grindstones, what a sensible girl. Waiter, bring us 4 glasses of beer, a loaf of yesterday's bread, and some cheese.
Oh, yesterday's bread. Oh, Cornelius, now I know how you keep half of New York in stitches all the time. Minnie, have you ever eaten pheasant?
Pheasant!
Woo! Say, why the closed curtains? You ashamed of something?
Oh, it's not that. I just got a slight chill, that's all.
Well, why didn't you say so? Here, I'll loan you this. Now, why don't we order something to hold us over till the rice comes, huh? Waiter, would you bring a roast suckling pig with chestnut and oyster stuffing, some cheese fondue, and some lady fingers? Yeah! Now,
What'll you have?
hey, you with the big ears, what are you doing after the show?
It's sweet of you to worry about our digestion, Cornelius. But I'm sure the pheasants are fresh. We'll take 4. And a nice red wine.
Wait a minute, no wine.
No wine?
Champagne!
Champagne!
Once in a lifetime, Barnaby. Champagne and tutti frutti ice cream. And Barnaby, give the band leader a nickel and tell him to play to a wild rose. We want music while we dine.
Say, this is a cafe, isn't it? Let's dance.
Vandergelders do not dance, Miss Money. We're Presbyterian.
Oh. Well, then I'll dance by myself. Give him $2 for the band leader, will you? And tell him to play something refined. I'm gonna do the hoochie coochie.
No, you're not getting here.
All right, Cornelius, I'll send for the band, but promise you won't order anything else.
You wait here, Miss Money. I'll tell them to play a nice waltz. Waiter! Waiter! Look, you. Give this to the band leader and tell him to play a waltz.
Here's a nickel for the band, and could you please tell them to play two?
Miss Money!
And 2 more pheasants, please.
Cornelius!
My purse.
My wallet.
Here, you. That's my purse.
Oh, excuse me. That's my wallet. I know it's mine because there's nothing in it but $1, 3 dimes, 5 pennies, and a buck. Cornelius! Cornelius! Did he say 2 pheasants? 3, 4 pheasants for the house! And never mind if we don't get to see the whale. I'll buy one of my own! Woo-hoo!
Sir! Sir! What's this? Shouting? How many times have I told you not to shout, boy? This is a Harmonia Gardens restaurant, not one of those.
But, sir, the lady, she's here.
What? Are you sure, boy?
Just like you said, sir. 8 o'clock on the nose, up pulled a carriage, and out stepped a tall lady with red hair and the biggest handbag I ever saw.
It's she, Mrs. Levi. She's back. Oh, Rudolph! Is it true?
I had someone laughing outside the kitchen window, and it sounded like...
It is. It's Dolly Fritz. Tell the band she just stepped out of a carriage. Rudolph, it's true, no? It's true, yeah. She just stepped out of a white and gold carriage pulled by 6 black horses with scarlet cloaks. Rudolph, it's like old times again. I want it exactly like old times. Exactly like old times. She is. She loves everything perfectly. And she's such a...
Rudy! She's here.
Hello, still glowing, you're still crowing, you're still going strong. I feel the room swaying, for the band's playing one of my old favorite songs from way back when. So bridge that gap, fellas, find me an empty lap, fellas, Dolly, you'll never go again.
Hello, Dolly. Well, hello, Dolly. It's so nice to have you back where you belong. You're looking swell, Dolly. We can tell, Dolly. You're still glowing, you're still growing, you're still going strong. We feel the room sway for the band play one of your old favorite songs from way back when.
Here's my hat, fellas, I'm staying where I'm at, fellas.
Promise you'll never go away again.
I went away from the lights of 14th Street and into my personal haze. But now that I'm back in the lights of 14th Street, tomorrow will be brighter than the good old days. Glad to see you, Hank. Let's thank my lucky star. You're looking great, Stanley. Lose some weight, Stanley. Dolly's overjoyed and overwhelmed and overpowered. And I
Still get glances from us hands of
golly gee, fellas, find me a vacant knee, fellas.
Dolly, you'll never go
Excuse me, girlie. Dolly. Dolly Gallagher. What are you doing in that getup? And you're a half hour late, and I demand an explanation.
Ernestina.
Exactly.
Ernestina, whom I trusted.
She wanted to do the hoochie-coochie.
Well, she always was artistic. Now, Horace, I'm having our table moved down front. There's someone in the dance competition I particularly want you to see. Don't let's say another word about it. I'm as shocked as you are. I can't eat a thing. What have you ordered?
What you wanted? A chicken. Now, see here, Mrs. Levi, about that hoochie-coochie girl.
Did you say a chicken? Oh, I don't think I could face a chicken. Not a chicken. Not today. Not after what's happened.
Good. Then cancel the chicken.
And bring a turkey.
What are you doing now?
Nothing. Just looking the place over, getting acquainted with the surroundings.
That's the trouble with you, Dolly. Always wanting to know everything. Always putting your nose into other people's affairs. Oh, anybody who married you would get as nervous as a cat.
What's that you're saying?
I said anybody who married you...
Vandergelder, put such ideas right out of your head this minute. I'm surprised at you even mentioning such a thing. Understand once and for all, I have no intention of marrying you.
I didn't mean that.
Well, I certainly do hope not. Horace Vandergelder, you go your way, and I'll go mine. I'm not some Irene Malloy whose head can be turned by a few chocolate-covered peanuts. Unshelled. The idea of you even suggesting such a thing.
Mrs. Levi, you misunderstood me.
Well, I certainly do hope not. But if I had any intention of marrying again, it would be to a far more pleasure-loving man than you. However, we won't discuss it anymore because he's the waiter with our food. I'll serve Mr. Vandergelder, Rudolph. Oh, now you see, here is some white meat for you. And some potato puffs, lighter than air they are here. And some giblets, very tender and very good for you. No, Horace, as I said before, you go your way and I'll go mine. Start right in on the wine. I think you'll feel very much better at once. However, since you brought the matter up, there is one more thing I am going to say.
I didn't bring the matter up at all.
One more thing I'm going to say before we forget all about it. It's true, I'm a woman who likes to know everything that's going on, who likes to manage things, but I wouldn't want to manage anything as out of control as your household. You'll have to do that yourself, God helping you.
It's not out of control.
Very well, we won't say another word about it. I have some beets, they're good.
I don't like beets.
That's good. No, Horace, a complaining, quarrelsome, friendless soul like you is no sort of companion for me. You salt your beets, and I'll salt mine.
Will you stop saying that?
I won't say another word.
Good.
Except this. At your age, Horace, you should enjoy hearing the honest truth about yourself.
My age. My age. You're always talking about my age.
Well, I don't know what your age is, but I do know that up in Yonkers with bad food and bad temper, you'll double it in 6 months. Have some more beets, you're good.
I don't like beets. I hate beets.
That's nice. Now dig right in. Yes, Horace, the pity of it is you could be a perfectly charming, witty, amiable man if you wanted to.
I don't want to be charming.
Oh, but you are. Look at you now. You can't hide it. Now sit down, Horace, and let's talk of something else. But before we change the subject, there is one more thing I am going to say.
I don't want to hear it, and you're wasting your time, Dolly Levi. I won't ask you to marry me.
I suppose that means you want me to ask you. Well, I'm sorry, Horace. I'm turning you down.
How can you turn me down when I haven't asked you anything?
It's no use arguing. I've made up your mind. Oh, here, let me cut your wings.
I've got a headache. I'm going back to my hotel.
Well, you can't go now, dear. The dance competition's about to begin.
Here's the money to pay for the dinner. Here's $20.
Oh.
Wait a minute. There's nothing in here but $1, 3 dimes, 5 pennies, and a button. This isn't my purse. I've lost my purse.
Barnaby, that purse you found.
Impossible. I can't imagine you without your purse.
It's Vandergelders. Cornelius, we better get out of here.
What am I going to do? I've never been here before. They don't know me. Stop eating that turkey. I can't pay for it.
Horace, it's the latest thing, a polka. And there's one dancer I particularly want you to see. Rudolph. So that Mr. Vandergelder can better observe his graceful movements. Isn't he marvelous? With talent like that, he should have won the solid gold cup.
Mrs. Malloy, it's been a perfectly wonderful evening, but I'm afraid we're going to have to cut it, excuse me, a bit short.
Minnie, look, a polka. Oh, Cornelius, I simply must have one dance.
But Vandergelder's right there. We've got to go.
We will go, but we'll dance our way out.
I don't want to hear any explanations. You're fired.
Officer, arrest that man!
You can't arrest him! He's my boy!
Arrest me! I'll be arrested.
disturbing the peace, assault and battery, inciting to riot, and several other equally serious violations of the law of this city. Is there anyone here to speak in your behalf? I say, is there anyone here to speak in your behalf? Mrs. Dolly Levi, Counselor at Law.
Your Honor. The defense rests. No, ladies and gentlemen, there is no need to call witnesses. When I see upon that bench a brow that gleams with nobility, a pair of snow-white whiskers that bristle with fair play, and a nose. Oh, I ask you to look at that nose, ladies and gentlemen. A nose that shines in the night like a flaming beacon of justice. Would you turn this way a bit, Your Honor, so that we might get a better look at your beacon? There. A living symbol of the motto of this great land. E proboscis unum. Your Honor, I ask for freedom for my clients and a verdict of guilty for the only real culprit, Horace Vandergelder of Yonkers, New York.
Dolly.
The one man responsible for these grievous charges of willful destruction of private property.
A curtain torn, a Vater bruise, und a solid gold cup bent.
Cruelty to a poor, unfortunate minor. Would you mind repeating that, dear?
Begging your pardon, Mrs. Levi, but if it please the court, I have something to say.
I was just about to call you Mr. Hackle. Go right ahead. The defense is resting her case.
Cornelius Hackle, if you dare testify against me, you'll be discharged.
You've already done that, Mr. Van de Gelder.
I'll do it again.
And you've done it again, too. But even if you hadn't, I'd still say what I have to say. Your Honor, I don't know anything about disturbing the peace or inciting to riot, but I do know that what happened today, which is the most important thing that can ever happen to a man, would never have happened had I obeyed your orders and stayed in Yonkers, New York. Your Honor, I am talking about none other than love.
What? You're trying to tell me that you've fallen in love because you take one evening off?
No, Mr. Van de Gelder. I didn't fall in love with Mrs. Irene Malloy of this city in just an evening, an hour.
Oh,
even that's too long. What's less than a minute?
A second.
Less than that.
A moment.
That's it. Oh, I'll go slowly so you can get it all down. It only takes a moment for your eyes to meet, and then your heart knows in a moment you will never be alone again. I held her for an instant, but my arms felt sure and strong. It only takes a moment to be loved. A whole life long. Isn't the world full of wonderful things? There I was, cooped up in Yonkers for years and years, and all the time wonderful people like Mrs. Malloy were walking around in New York, and I didn't know them at all. Oh, I don't know whether you all can see from where you're sitting out there. For instance, the way her eye and cheek and forehead all come together up here. Can you? I'll tell you one thing. A fine woman is the greatest work of God on earth. You can talk all you want to about Niagara Falls and the pyramids. They're not in it at all. Of course, I've seen women before, but today I talked to one equal to equal, and they're so different from men. And they're awfully mysterious, too. I bet you could know a woman for 100 years without being really sure whether she even liked you or not. I've lost so many things today. My job, my future, all the things that people think are important, but I don't care. Even if I had to dig ditches for the rest of my life, I'll be a ditch digger who once had a wonderful day.
I missed a few words back there, Mr. Hackle. Right after it only
Takes a moment. Put his arms still sure and strong. It only takes a moment.
He held me for an instant, but his arms
that love's about.
And we'll recall when time runs out. That it only took a moment to be loved. Our whole life
Dismissed! Dismissed! All dismissed! All except Horace Van the Gelder of Yonkers, New York. You're all dismissed. You're free, my children, and bless you. Go! Go!
You can see the prisoner now, Mrs. Levi.
Well, Horace, there's your life. Without niece, without clerks, without bride, and without your purse. Well, it looks as if there's only one more thing to say.
If it's to ask me to marry you, Dolly Gallagher, never. Not in a million years. Under no circumstances will I ever marry you.
Oh, that wasn't it at all, Horace. All I wanted to say to you was... Goodbye.
What?
Goodbye.
Now, hold on, Dolly.
It's too late, Horace. I failed. And when a woman fails, there's nothing more she can say.
Wait.
But...
Say.
Goodbye. 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 Don't try and stop me, Horace, please. Wave your little hand and whisper so long, dearie, you ain't gonna see me anymore. But when you discover that your life is dreary, don't you come a-knocking at my door, for I'll be all down and singing that song that says you're dog. I told you so. So wave your little hand and whisper, so long, dearie. Dearie should have said so long ago, because you treated me so rotten and rough. I've had enough of feeling low. So wave your little hand and whisper, so long, dearie. Dearie should have said so long ago. For I can hear that choo-choo calling me on to a fancy new address. Yes, I can hear that choo-choo calling me on board that Happiness Express. I'm gonna learn to dance and drink and smoke a cigarette. I'm going as far away from Yonkers as a girl can get. So and on those cold winter nights, Horace, you can snuggle up to your kid's register. It's a little lumpy, but it rings. come a knocking out you doubled up and singing that song that says a dog. I told you so. So, Horace, you will find your life a sad old story when you see your Dolly shuffle off to glory. Oh, I said, so long. So long ago.
And I wouldn't marry you, Dolly Levi, if you were the last woman on earth. Not if you asked me 1,000,000 times. I didn't need you before, and I don't need you now. Dolly Levi, you go your way, and I'll go mine. Oh, Dolly, Dolly, Dolly. Dolly, 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 Dolly.
You stamped, Mr. Van de Gelder?
What? Oh, so it's you, is it, Mr. Hackle? Come crawling back, have you?
No, Mr. Van de Gelder. I just stopped by for my $146.35. You see, I've decided to go into business for myself. And since the only business I know is hay and feed, I'm opening my own store.
And Cornelius has found the perfect location, Mr. Van de Gelder. Right across the street from you.
So you think you can compete with Van de Gelders, do you? Well, just you try. Aha! Another one come crawling, is it? What do you want?
My back salary for the past 4 months. $6.12.
You can't do this to me, any of you. I'll go to the courts. I'll get lawyers.
Why, Horace Van de Gelder, as I live and breathe, if you aren't handsome in that outfit, so few men nowadays have the courage to wear fawn, yellow, and puce. I know just what you're going to say, Horace. You're not satisfied with Ernestina. Well, I have another girl for you, the ideal wife. But you were doing something. Don't let me interrupt you. What were you doing?
Getting Cornelius's money, Dolly. $146.
Yeah.
35 cents.
And $6.12 of mine.
And the money my mama left me, $52.48.
38!
48.
All right. If it's the money you want, the safe is upstairs. Go on, get up there.
Oh, money, 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 money. Mr. Van de Gelder's money. It's like the sun we walk under. It can kill or cure. Van de Gelder is never tired of saying that most people in the world are fools. And in a way, he's right, isn't he? Himself, Irene, Cornelius, myself. Yes, we're all fools, and we're all in danger of destroying the world with our folly. But the surest way to keep us out of harm is to give us the 4 or 5 human pleasures that are our right in the world. And that takes a little money. Now, the difference between a little money and no money at all is enormous and can shatter the world. And the difference between a little money and an enormous amount of money is very slight, and that can shatter the world too. It's all in how you use it. As my late husband, Ephraim Levi, once said, money, you should pardon the expression, is like manure. It's not worth a thing unless it's spread around. Yeah. encouraging young things to grow. Anyhow, that's the opinion of the second Mrs. Vandergelder. Which reminds me, Ephraim, I'm ready for that sign.
Mr. Vandergelder! Well, don't just stand there. That goes upstairs.
Oh, well, Horace, as I was saying, I found you the ideal wife.
Dolly Gallagher, I don't want you to find me no ideal wives. If I want an ideal wife, I'll find one of my own. And I found her. And it's you. Damn it.
Why, Horace.
Oh, I know. I've been a fool about Mrs. Malloy and that other woman. But, Dolly, forgive me and marry me.
Horace, stop right there.
What do you mean?
Well, you know as well as I do that you're the first citizen of Yonkers. Naturally, you'd expect your wife to be a somebody. Now, I ask you, am I a somebody?
You are. Wonderful woman.
Oh, you're partial. No, Horace, it won't be enough for you to load your wife with money and jewels, to insist that she be a benefactress to half the town. Oh, by the way, it's bad business letting Cornelius open a store right across the street from you. Better take him back, let him be a partner.
Partner?
Yeah, then Barnaby can have Cornelius's old job.
Now, see here, Dolly.
Sure, that way we'll all be together and we can dance at Ermengarde's wedding.
That does it. You've gone too far, Dolly. I'll dance at no weddings. Besides, I don't know how, and it would take me weeks, months, years to learn. All right, I'll dance.
Horace, I never thought I'd hear you say a thing like that.
Mr. Vandergelder? That front room, you idiot. Well, go on. What are you waiting for?
Horace Vandergelder, what is going on up there?
Oh, nothing. I just thought I'd have that front room done over in blue wallpaper.
Why, Horace.
Oh, I know. The old paper ain't worn out yet. But that fella just set up in business, and he needs a good start. You see, Dolly, I've always felt that money, you'll pardon the expression, is like manure. It's not worth a thing unless...
Thank you, Ephraim.
Hello, Dolly. Well, hello, Dolly. It's so nice to have you here where you belong. I never knew, Dolly, without you. Dolly, life was awfully flat, and more than that was awfully wrong.
Horace, I'm staying where I'm at. Horace, Dolly'll never go away. dear people of Melbourne, Florida, and environs. Now, honestly, isn't this all really something? I mean, all of us being back together again here in Melbourne, Florida. I know that many of you are the same people that I, for one, have played Hello, Dolly to before. Is that... Yes! Oh, sure! Yes! And now, thanks to our producer, Manny Cloditis, and... he knows him, yeah. And all that crowd. Now, thanks to them, here we are. And you know, they said to us, they said, now, this is your grand world tour of Hello, Dolly. Where would you all like to play? And we said, Melbourne. Didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did. We did. And, and we will be going to China and Japan and Australia and Holland and Bangkok and where else are we going?
Siam.
Siam. It's the same thing, same place. He'll learn. And all those watering places. So, as we say, join Hello, Dolly, and see the world. Oh, you dear people, you just stand there and listen to me. And you don't seem to be going anywhere. And I can't shut up is my problem. So may God bless each and every one of you, and may I say on behalf of the entire company, we love you dearly.